Sometimes in life, the gods smile upon you, my friends.
Yeah, so on Monday, all I'm going to say is some of you just relax. I know some of you are going to do this on Monday. You're going to do exactly what that character on screen is doing. You're just going to be clicking like crazy, buy, 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 buy. But I exercise caution. I'm telling you to exercise caution and let's see what actually happens. You don't want to get faked out and be like, oh wow, this is this time it's not gonna be different. No. Let's just sit back and relax. Too many people, they see a big drop, and there's a lot of people that bought the drop yesterday and it still dropped in after hours. So let's just relax and see what's gonna happen next. I get it, you're afraid that you're gonna miss out. But the reality is, if your dollar cost averaging, you'll be fine. If you're buying a good company, you'll be fine. I don't know why people are always afraid to average up or down on a good company. So I'll just leave it at that. I know some of you are going to be exactly like that character, just smashing that button, just buy. Let's talk about Moro stock. Moro stock sitting at 18.65, massive drop. I did buy 1,000 shares at 20.85, sold them at break even because I just something didn't feel right. Something just felt off. And so I got out of break even, tried to get into BMNR calls. Then I saw how wide the bid and ask spread is for those calls, those leaps. And I was like, well, I'm not going to buy calls that leave me $100, $200 down automatically as soon as I buy in. That's just stupidity, in my opinion. So I just ended up sitting back and doing nothing with the Bitcoin side of things. And then I just watched everything tank. And I'm like, wow, I'm glad I didn't buy more Moro. I'm glad I didn't hold it. I'm glad I didn't buy calls on anything. So I'm just sitting on some ARKB and MSTR, which I'm fine with. But I did not want to hold specifically any Bitcoin miners when you get those kinds of drops. Or any calls, any options. So I'm okay with holding MSTR, the Treasury, and ARKB, which is just an ETF exposure to Bitcoin's movement itself. Okay, so if history is going to repeat, we should see a retest of that purple line, which, funny enough, would be a retest of the trend line here, the ascending triangle. This is an ascending triangle. An ascending triangle means the price is slowly consolidating towards the upward part of this channel. And then eventually, here, technically speaking, should explode to the upside. So we've touched this top twice and we keep getting pushed down. But the point of this is sellers are losing power as we go higher in share price. And eventually the sellers, they just don't have enough strength to overcome the buyers and we go higher. And that would send it to 25, which I've been waiting for, but we just keep teasing the breakout and then coming right back down. So we go to the weekly time frame and it's a lot more clear what's happening. On the weekly time frame, look at that. It's a lot more clear. So we would expect next week to be a little more downside, followed by, let me look at the monthly as well. Yeah, the monthly, pretty much the same thing. Unless, let me check the monthly. Let me make sure I'm not crazy. Yeah, on the monthly, we're basically in a channel. So it would come down to the bottom of this channel. And maybe it uses the 50 EMA as support as well. So funny enough, on the monthly, it's a channel. Let me look at the quarterly, just out of curiosity. On the quarterly, we're just breaking out. On the quarterly time frame, we're breaking out, right? We were inside a wedge, and we just broke out of it. And right now, we're just... I don't know, that's weird because before this it was like this and then it broke out here. So we'll see. Maybe it's still technically a wedge on the quarterly. So I mean, we're still gonna just go up and down inside it either way. So as you work your way down from yearly to quarterly, monthly, we just got a lot of either bullish patterns or neutral patterns. But in a bull run, remember, in a bull run, this is important information. In a bull run, what happens to bearish patterns? They get invalidated, and instead we get a huge pump. So do not underestimate bullish patterns or even neutral patterns in a bull run, even bearish patterns. If you see a bearish pattern, it might not play out. because again, we're in a bull run. What does that mean? There's more green days than red days. That's the first thing that needs to happen. That means that there's more buyers than sellers. And a lot of people were shorting this one. Can you guess where? Right here. They were shorting it. Do you see why? Shoulder, head, shoulder. And I remember telling people, no. This is, if it was a bear market, I think, yes, I'd be bearish. But this is a bull market. So this head and shoulders pattern, guess what? The people who shorted this, they just saw it run up. So they got screwed. And either they held through the pain and hoping it comes back down, or they took the loss. It's one or the other. This is why I don't short, especially in the bull run. That just doesn't make sense. Hey, let me short against the wave, like the bull run wave. That doesn't make sense. There's a rapid wave of buyers coming in, and I'm gonna swim against that and try to short it down. Like that's just silly. So this got invalidated because we pumped on this green candle here, then pulled back and then continued. So with that said, another thing I want to point out here on the weekly time frame, something that's very interesting, is we had 2 green weeks, then a red week, followed by a green week, red week, green week, red week. So what do I take away from this is, at least as of recently, this stock is getting, green week, red week, green week, red week. So wouldn't it make sense to buy the red, right? Doesn't that make sense? Like, why wouldn't you want to buy the red? That's what I ask you. Why wouldn't you? And the funny thing is, here on the weekly, it also looks like it's forming a cup here, and then it would form a handle and break out higher, which is a bullish pattern. And here you can see it more clear, cup, and I don't know if this is a handle here, but cup. We would form the handle right now and then eventually break out, which coincides with that weekly ascending triangle. Or was it the monthly? I don't even remember where I saw the short-term ascending triangle here. So there's a lot of patterns here. But again, we're in a bull run, so there's no reason to be bearish. The drop that happened, I think, a blessing in disguise. I would say just give it, just keep an eye on it. I'll be streaming anyways, but keep an eye on it on Monday. Keep an eye on it, and let's see if it goes any lower. But this is big support right here at 1844. So and I think I have like 400 shares. I got assigned on some shares, and I'm holding some shares at 20, I believe, because because the price came down a lot, or else those covered calls would have taken my shares away. The sold put would have expired, and I would have kept all the premium. So I'm probably just gonna sell covered calls again on the 300 shares that I have, and 400 shares because of the sold put being assigned. So the 400 shares that I hold of Mara currently, I'm going to sell covered calls on those at 21 probably, and just keep taking the premium. I don't care if it goes up, great, and my shares get called away, cool. If not, it goes down, cool. I can collect the premium. So I'm kind of playing a little more safe. Like, I'm not going to buy 1,000 shares. I'm just going to stick to the 400 and just keep selling covered calls and printing the money that way. I think it's going to continue to be very volatile, but there's going to be opportunity coming up on Monday more than anything is what I'll be watching for, and see how the market behaves. I mean, please, if Mara wants to tank again, please send it down to 17. I will load up if it comes down to that purple line and to that this right here, this ascending wedge trend line. So there you go. Bullish. I'm bullish. Again, don't forget where we are. It's a 1-day drop. Relax. Okay, relax, people. And also the monthly time frame. Another interesting thing about the monthly time frame is, let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Right here. On the monthly time frame, this crossover, this white line crossing the yellow line, means that we are in a bull market, right? Because that crossover on the MACD needs to happen in order for us to have momentum to the upside. And I think some of these shorts don't know how to play the game. Man, sometimes I think I'd be good at shorting with how stupid the shorts are right now. Like, why would you short in a bull run? Number one. Number two, how could you see this MACD crossover in the monthly? They probably don't even look at this time frame and be like bearish. That doesn't even make sense. When you get that white line crossing over the yellow line on the MACD, patreon.com/shadesandtrades if you want to join the Discord. When you see that, you have buyers on your side, and any short going against that wave of buyers that's just silly. So again, I please don't be bearish just yet unless we get the cross under, right? If you see the cross under back here, what happened? This cross under happened, right? White line crossing under the yellow line. What happened? It was followed by what? 1, 2 red months, and then a green month where we kind of just finally went sideways and started finding buyers, and then we rallied from there. But the most important thing is that cross under signifies downside, and that was 2 months of downside. Imagine 2 months of just seeing Mara go red. We actually did keep buying as it went down, and then we made a lot of money on the way back up. So yeah. Like this is the time to short, right? If you're a short, this is the time to short, not here. So again, very, very, very bullish until we get that signal to the downside. There's no reason to be concerned. So that's all I got to say with regards to Mara. We know their revenues continue to grow. Their revenues just continue to go higher. They're building up the AI side, infrastructure side of things. So we just gotta be patient and buy where it makes sense. And I've just told you where it makes sense. Even the RSI is getting nice and cool. In fact, if it comes down to 30 RSI, that would coincide with us touching the 50 level at around 1750. We'll see if it comes down that low. Keep an eye on Bitcoin itself over the weekend and see how it likes to behave. If Bitcoin does not find some more here and goes lower, we would expect Mara to do the same. But right now, it's still continuing to find buyers at that 200 WMA, and that actually makes sense. So I think it's nothing more than a dip buying opportunity. I might sell some puts at 1750 on Monday and see if I can get those filled. If not, that means that the stock rallied to 20, maybe even 21, and then my covered calls that I sell will get called away. So either way, because I'm selling puts on this and selling covered calls on the 400 shares, including the 100 shares that I got assigned this week, I still make money regardless of where it goes. And that's just kind of my strategy with something as volatile as Mara, and especially a month as volatile as October. All right, that's it. That's all I got to say. That's my strat. I'm not, it's nothing genius. Like, it's not, but you always got to make sure you're not, panicking like some people. So yeah, like, because I'm selling covered calls and puts, I don't got to time anything. Either it comes down to my put and I get assigned those and I get paid a premium to buy them at 1750, or it rallies back to 20 plus and my covered calls get, my shares get called away on those 400 shares, and I still make, $200 and then the premium on top. So it's a win-win. And that's just me taking advantage of the volatility. I mean, you can go ahead and just buy and sit on shares. That's absolutely fine. But there's other plays here, where like Mara isn't the only play. There's plenty of play. We bought gold here, this gold stock, and we're up on it. If this thing goes to, this can go to 10 cents. This is where I'll make my 100% on these penny stocks, these gold penny stocks that no one, is talking about, that just recently broke a downtrend. This is where we make the big bucks. But Mara, I'm solely focused on taking advantage of that volatility through the premium collected from covered calls and sold puts. That's it for the video. I'll see you in the next one.